Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are here for the holiday edition of the PracticeMaster Virtual User Group Meeting, the December 2015 PracticeMaster Virtual User Group Meeting, where today we are talking about filtering. We've been talking about filtering. We're going to talk more about filtering today, and today we're going to focus on some more advanced filters that Mary Jo and I are going to build in the calendar. Without further ado, I will press the magic button, and this magic button, and that magic button, and enough magic buttons to get back over here to, okay, not there. Enough magic buttons to get, oh no, we didn't open it, Mary Jo. Enough magic buttons to get to PracticeMaster. We didn't, Mary Jo, you forgot to open PracticeMaster.
And I ramble.
And you ramble.
Okay.
So Mary Jo is going to tell us all about filters in the calendar file.
Okay, if I have control.
Yeah, you know, I forgot all about that part.
Yeah, he
so
just
tell him a lawyer
doesn't want to let go of control. You know, it's just a control thing.
Here we go. We got these things here. Okay, so tell him a Christmas story while.
A Christmas story.
Too late.
Do I have control? Yes. Okay.
You should now.
Way to go. All right, so we're going to build a calendar filter. Last month we built a filter in the client file, and this month we're going to work on one in the calendar file and get you started. I'm going to do a simple one, just using what we call the wizard, the real easy way to do it. And then Paul is going to show you a little bit more advanced way to do a filter and show a little bit more information. But for mine, where we want to be, and you can click right here on this calendar tab, and we want to be in the calendar file to do this. If I just go to my calendar, I don't have my quick clicks and I can't get to the filter area. And so I want to be in the calendar file. Once I am here, I can then, right now I think we have a filter. Are we logged in as Ron? Yes, Paul? Did you log back in as Ron? Okay, well, I see different ones in here. But anyway, so what we're going to do is okay. Well, anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a past due filter. And you'll see there's one in here already, but we're just going to recreate it and show you how it's done. And what this is going to do is show me right here on my calendar list what tasks I have out there that are past due. So what we're going to do is go in and just actually build one, and then I can just click on this past due, and I can get all of the ones that are for me that are past due. So what we're going to do is go into our Manage Filters, and I'm just going to get rid of some of this stuff real quick just so that I just have it off the screen. It's just easier to just hide these. We'll just get them out of the way so that we can show you what you would actually see when you're in here. So when we are here, now I've got them grayed out, but these would just not even be here. You're probably not going to have very many filters, if any. And so if we're here on my Manage Filters, I have an Add button up here, just like we did in the client file. So I'm going to click the Add to get a new filter. I'm going to call it Past Due, and I'm going to call it Past Due dash Tasks, just so that I have it a little different than what's already in there. And I'm going to use my new row feature here so that I can just add rows right here on this screen. What Paul's going to get into is this advanced row, but what I'm going to just focus on is just adding a new row. So what I want to do is I want to specify that the type of calendar record has to be a task. That's the first thing I want to do. And then I want to say that the due date is I don't want it to be passed, and I don't want the completed date to be filled in. So I have to kind of know what I want to have be the outcome, so then I can start building these rows. So the first thing I need to do is I have to specify that it's a task. So I'm going to add a new row, and I'm going to go into the type field right here and select it, and I'm going to say that it's equal to the letter T. And this has a drop down, so I can just pick it. E is for event, T is for task. So I have to specify that I just want the past due task. So here's my type equal to T. And I'm going to do another row. And I just clicked on here, and it just automatically inserted and assumed I want an and. That could be changed to or, but in my case I do want it to be and. And then I have to get my due date. So my due date cannot be in older than 0 days. I just want that to just be not due. So I've got my due date. Whoops, I've got another extra column there, sorry. Right here, I want the drop down to be older than 0 days. So I don't want that to be passed yet. And I'm going to click again. I want to make sure that the complete date is not done because I only want to see the overdue tasks that have not been completed. So for that one, I'm going to go down to the complete date, and I'm going to select it. And then here for my drop down, I'm going to say that it is equal to, and I just want that to be blank because I don't want a date filled in there. Whoops, and I keep clicking over there to get new rows. So what I'm saying is that the type is a task, and the due date has to be older than 0 days, so it passed today, and the complete day has to be equal to blank. I don't want anything in there that's been completed. And I'm going to save it. And so when I come out here and I choose this past due task filters that I have now, it's only going to show me any calendar entries that are tasks that are older. Now, my system thinks that the due date is actually 11/15 because this is sample data. So this is older than that day, and it's not completed. What did I say? Oh, okay. Okay. So whatever the default date is in my sample data, it's 11-something of 15. It's choosing things that have a due date that is not in that range and that has not been completed, and it is actually a task. And so I can click on that particular task, go in and look at it. I can see it's a task. It's not been completed, and it's overdue. So that's how I just very simply just using the, let me go turn it back off again. So if I don't want to see this anymore, I've got a check mark in front of there. So what I'm going to do is just click on it again to take the check mark off, and I'm back into my regular, my whole list. Now, if I forget to do that, and you're going to know right away if you've ever got a filter on, because you've got this little green box up here that says it's filtered. So if you're ever seeing things that, or not seeing things that you think you should be, check first to make sure you don't have a filter on. And if you do, come over here and uncheck it, and then you'll have all of the data back up there on the screen for you to view. So that's where you can just very simply, by clicking Manage Filters, come in, decide that you want to build a new one or edit it. If I wanted to change that, I could click on my little, if I highlight it, click on my Edit button, I can change some things, or I can create a new one. Now, if I edit this, there's one other box that I didn't talk about, this Show for All Users. So if you wanted to create this filter and have it push out so everybody sees it, you would check this box. And I believe you have to have manager rights to do that, or you have to have rights to be able to do this. But if you have this available and you do want to push that out to all users, you can do that. You can check that, and that eliminates you having to go to each computer and creating this filter like we used to have to do in prior versions, but we no longer have to do that. And if you forgot to do it and you said, oh, I really wanted everybody to have that, just come in and edit it, and then just check the box and save it, and now all users will see that filter that you've created. So that's it. That is doing it in the simple mode. And
that's the easy way.
That's the easy way. And you can choose any parameters. I just created a quick one on a past due task filter, but there's all kinds of things that you can do in that simple mode that you can create a simple filter. But that's the gist of how it works.
Now, a couple things I want to show you before I get into the advanced row is that when Mary Jo clicked on type, she got a list of fields. We'll be able to do that in the advanced row. It's a little different. She was able to click on the condition and choose from things like equal to, less than, or equal to. You're going to have to know what your conditions are to do an advanced row. And most importantly, when she clicked on test value, in other words, what are we testing type against, we want to make sure it's T, she had a drop down. So she knew that the only two available options for the possible values for the type field were E and T. And she also knew that they were capital E and capital T. You don't get that in the advanced row. So I'm going to go create another one, a brand new one. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go to Manage Filters and hit the New button. And I'm going to call this Ron-26th or 13th. Okay, we want to know, it's a quick filter that somebody's building to show Ron's entries for this month that fall on the 26th or 13th. Okay, and kind of an obscure reason to filter data, but we wanted to come up with something we could show you that was relatively simple but still used the advanced row. Now, if you look at this and you feel like your head's going to explode, A, don't let it, because it's just not worth it. And B, just remember that part of what you're getting out of this is knowing that something can be done. Not necessarily knowing exactly how to do it so you could close this session and go to your own computer and do it exactly the same way, but to know that it can be done. That's half the battle, is to know that a certain thing can be done, and then figuring out how to do it, well, that's the other half. I want to explain that when me and Leanne and Mary Jo and Pam do these things, we don't get them right the first time. We have to look at the help and look at the list of functions and understand what our options are, and then we play with it, and it doesn't give us what we want, and we play with it some more, and finally it gives us what we want. So to think that you're going to learn exactly how to build a filter, I don't think anybody learns exactly everything they need to know, but they know where to go to find what they need to know. And even if that's not your goal, maybe your goal is just to know what's possible. Okay? So here we are. Instead of clicking on one of these rows, I'm going to click on New Advanced Row, and it's going to give me a blank box. Now I could go in here, because I know what I'm doing, and I could type due date equals date num whatever, okay? But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you how to use the function and field buttons yourself. So if I want to add a field, I want to say due date, and that happens to be the field that's highlighted when I come in here, equals 11/26/15. Now the thing is, I can't really say that this date value equals this alpha or character value. I have to convert this to something we call a date num. And I'm going to do that with a function. Okay, so now I'm saying I want the due date to equal date num of 11/26/15. But you don't remember the name of the function? Neither do I. I do have a cheat sheet I'm looking at. But if I didn't have that cheat sheet, I'd come into functions, I'd click on date function, I'd find date num, and it would put it in there for me. Now it doesn't automatically surround this value with the quote, with the parentheses, so I take that parenthesis out, and I put that parenthesis in. This, if I were to just run this, it would select every calendar record that falls on 11/26/15. Let me actually just do that. It's not really around 26th or 13th yet. We haven't finished it. But there is every entry that falls on the 26th or 15th. It's funny, Mary Jo. I think those are all Ron's. So when we get done, well, but in any event. Let's go on. So we could have done that. Mary Jo showed you a way that you could have done that just by clicking a row and saying due date equals 11/26/15. You wouldn't have had to go through all this. So let's add the rest of it. Oops, I didn't mean to click on add. I meant to click on this row that already existed. And I'm going to go in and say, or, and I am just going to type it this time because I have something right here that I can go to. I'm just kind of copying what's there, only I'm putting in the other date. It's the 13th or the 26th. So I'm going to put, I've already got the 26th, so I'm going to put 13th. There we go. Now we're looking for either of those two dates. Now I could have done that with these rows too. But I also want to say and user ID, the field user ID, equals Ron. Okay. Now there's one more thing. Stick with me. I'm getting a little nerdy here. I want either of these dates and Ron. So just like in math, where you used parentheses to specify which things got done first, if you had 10 plus 4 times 14 divided by 6, and you wanted to say, do this part first and do that part first, we can use parentheses around the or to say, do the or part first, and if it's true, compare its result with the user equals Ron thing. Okay? And go ahead.
And this is just where I wanted to stop because, Paul, you could have done all three of those things in what I did, but you're not going to get the results that you want.
Right.
Because of what you're doing now. So some of you might be out there going, well, you could select all three of those rows just like
and put and here and
put or there. But this is the part what he's talking about with the parentheses you can't do there. So just pay attention to that part because that's key.
What Mary Jo's saying is that you could have 3 lines that do these 3 things, and you could have an or between the first one and an and between the second one. But what you don't get is the part that I was talking about in math, where if you don't specify the parentheses, it does it in the order that it wants to. And you need to override that order, and so that's one of the reasons that you would use an advanced row. There are a lot of other reasons to use an advanced row. And if you're thinking to yourself, my gosh, I would never use an advanced row because I don't know what he's talking about, keep in mind, just knowing that you can do something and then finding somebody at the firm or anybody else, us, software technology, it doesn't matter who, finding somebody to help you do that, that's half the battle, okay? So just knowing that you can do these things is very important. And so don't worry about the fact that you may not understand this. If you're attending this particular virtual user group meeting with 3 other people from your firm, I guarantee you that one of the people is going, yeah, that makes sense. I know how to do that. I think I could do that. And the rest of them, the other 3 are going, huh? Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, just a couple more hints for you, for those of you that are going, that's kind of cool. I think I could play with that. There is, when you're in the functions, there's a help button. And one of the things you can get to from help is a list of functions. And that's very, very important for those of you that are going, this is cool, I kind of like this. Because this is where you can see all the functions all at once, or broken down into these 4 major food groups, and click on one and find out exactly what it does. I'm not going to go through all these functions and tell you what they do. But what I want you to understand is that there's a lot of cool stuff that can be done in the advanced row in a filter. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, but you're still feeling a little curious, if you come into functions, which is where I went, I clicked on the functions button and press help, and then immediately go to the list of functions, and then of course you want to make it bigger so you can move around. Everything you'd want to know about every function that you can use in the advanced editor or the advanced expression builder, it will be found here. Okay. Kind of nerdy stuff, and some of you are never going to find yourself in here, but that's what Mary Jo showed you is for. That's what the ability to come in and do a simple thing is for. It may not handle every situation that you need, but at least that's a good place to get started in using filters. So there we have it. Filters from a wizard perspective, and filters from a slightly more advanced row perspective. Oh, Mary Jo's saying show them. If I click on this, after I've gotten out, it still shows the same because they all happen to... There we go. We added the 26, and they all happen to be for Ron, just because I happen to pick dates that, yeah, well, when we had it before without Ron in there, we still had those same rows. But that's all right. That's what that does. Here's all the records, and here's the ones for Ron that happen to fall on those 2 dates. Okay. Now, just like Mary Jo built one, the one I built is kind of static. It only applies to 11/26 and 11/13 for Ron. But there are ways we can say, show the entries for whoever's currently logged in that are past due. And that's what we call dynamic as opposed to static. My static filter says, you know, if I run this in 2017, it's still going to show 11/13 and 11/26 of 2015. Whereas if you build a dynamic filter that says within the last 14 days, or for me within the last 28 days, then that's something that's always going to be applicable. It's static. It changes from day to day. Or, I'm sorry, it's dynamic. It changes from day to day. So enough about that. Let's talk about what we're talking about next month, which is, now don't tell anybody this, but we're talking about version 18 and every feature that it has. The reason I say don't tell anybody this is because the official release date, we think, for version 18 is the end of the month. Now, I know it's the 21st. We don't have much time left. And so Mary Jo and I we don't want to get in trouble. So we will not have this on version 18 if that gets pushed back. If that gets pushed back to the end of next month, it's very likely that it won't be out in time for us to have our PracticeMaster virtual user group meeting in January be about version 18. But I don't anticipate that. I think it's really going to come out before the end of the month, and therefore the next virtual user group meeting is going to be about version 18. And that's going to be the quick and fast-paced one where Mary Jo and I attempt to show you every new feature and function within PracticeMaster within that period of time. And so while we're on the subject, if we go to a web browser and go to tabs3.com/prerelease, we end up, it changes this, but we end up at a sign up for the pre-release. Now, if you want version 18 right now and you want to be able to get it yourself, you want to just go to STI, fill out a form and get it, you better get it quick. Because once it's actually released, you're going to need to call them and make special arrangements for you to get it ahead of everybody else, because once they actually release it, it's going to be rolled on a very, month by month. This month it'll go to these users, this month it'll go to those users, this month it'll go to these users. And so if you want it right now, get it while it's still in pre-release. Come to the pre-release site, tabs3.com/pre-release, sign up. It gives you a brief description of what's new, gives you a place to sign up, fill out the form, submit it, and you'll get a link to pre-release. While we're on the subject of websites, let's go to Attorney Computer Systems. Notice the emphasis on that S there at the end of the word systems, attorneycomputersystems.com, because this is where you'll find all of our video content. We have our water cooler meetings, our virtual user group meetings. You are attending right now the PracticeMaster virtual user group meeting. We have tabs and World Docs as well, and you will find a link for each of those live events. You'll also find information on our Coffee Pot webinars that I give every month and the eBite video series that Mary Jo records 3 of each month, one on PracticeMaster, one on tabs, one on World Docs. And you'll find our ever popular Paul and Mary Jo show, where either I or Mary Jo take a broader topic and really get deep into it for 10 or 15 or sometimes as long as 20 minutes. But as far as the live events, the PracticeMaster virtual user group meeting, for instance, if you click on that, it will give you a description of what the PracticeMaster virtual user group meeting is. It will tell you what the next topic is and give you a link to register. And as you scroll down, you'll see the other entries. Here's where we are right now. And it's currently in post-production, so you won't see a video for the one that we're attending right now. But as you scroll down, you'll see videos for all the PracticeMaster virtual user group meetings. And you can spend, believe me, hours, sometimes weekends, browsing through these things. I question the sanity of the people that do that, but they do. But if you want to go straight to something, click on search, type something like, email statements, and you'll get a list of things that meet your search criteria, including learn how to send statements via email in tabs 3. And if you click through, you will simply go to that video. So there's a lot of content here, a lot of stuff to watch, a lot of information. Feel free to take advantage of it. It's free. It's there all day, all week, 24/7. Have fun. This is our Christmas gift to you. So have a great holiday, everybody. Merry Christmas, and we will see you next year in 2016. Thanks. Bye-bye.